So, Jafet, I'd love to hear your whole story, starting with how you first perhaps found pornography, and then up to the point where you first realized it was a problem, and how you got to where you are now.
Okay, so the starting point was when I was 10 years old. Um, I have a sister. She's she's 5 years lesser than me, so I'm 5 years older. So at that time when I was 10, we had a babysitter, you know, that was taking care of basically of her, because mom and dad were at work. So we were with the babysitter all day long. And I remember that this girl, she was like 20, 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She actually turned the TV on and started, watching a lot of sex scenes and all that stuff when my sister was asleep. But I was wake up, I was seeing and watching all that stuff. And that completely changed my life totally.
Mm.
From that point, um, I uh, turned completely fascinated for sex. You know,
Yeah.
completely fascinated for something that I wasn't supposed to meet at that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I started masturbating or fapping at the age of 10, 11. And I remember that I started, sneaking out at night on the computer that was in the living room when my father and mother were asleep. And I started watching. Well, I started with pictures of naked girls. Okay, that's how I started. And I remember that I, started escalating into more and more hardcore stuff. Um, so till from the age of 10, 11 through 15 years old, I basically masturbated every single day and watched porn every single day. I remember that the first porn scene that I saw was when I was 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And that was basically uh, the time when um, I don't know how do you say this. I get hooked up with PMO at the age of 15. I met a girl, and and I started having normal sex, completely normal sex. So I started my sex life uh, actually with a real person at the age of
Mm-hmm.
15. And that was nonstop as well. But every time that I had sex with her, when I came home at night, I watched porn as well, even though I already had sex with her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was I wasn't doing that, or I wasn't watching porn because I liked it, but I was doing that because it was an addiction, and I
Mm.
didn't know that. Maybe there were some times that I was tired and I didn't wanted to do it, but you know, and I remember that I did that all through 15 years old, 16, 17, till I was 20. I never stopped.
And before you started having sex, did you imagine that when you were in a relationship and finally having sex, that you wouldn't need porn anymore?
I thought that
Yeah.
that would happen, but I didn't know why I didn't stop with porn.
Mm-hmm.
I just liked it, loved it at that point. And I remember that usually did that. There were some days that I, you know, fap maybe 4 times a day, and I um, I grew up in a Christian family, so that was totally not accepted in basically my religion. But even though I knew that was an issue when I had 18, 20 years old, I knew that I had a problem because I wanted to leave it, but I couldn't. And I remember that it was like a non-satiable uh, thing that I had inside. I don't know if you can relate to that, but
Yeah. I think
it
I
was,
can.
yeah, it was something that I don't know, man. I couldn't control,
Mhm.
and as well, that destroyed that relationship
Mhm.
uh, because I wanted to have sex every single day with that girl, um, and I didn't enjoy any other aspect of the relationship, or I didn't want it to do anything else other than sex and or watch porn. So I lost um, completely all motivation for the things I used to like or I used to love. I actually love sports, music, and I remember that is I completely stopped doing that. I think that I had like 18 years old when I completely stopped practicing sports, practicing music, and my life was completely inside my room, you know.
Mhm.
And well, as I told before, that completely destroyed that relationship. And then I met a new girl, uh, and we started having sex as well. That relationship was for like a year, and the same thing. She told me that why don't you take me to the movies, or why don't you try to do something else other than sex with, you
So
know?
there was no balance in your relationship.
Not at all. And
Mhm.
I was careless, um, I was not empathic. I didn't know why, you know. And sometimes she had an issue, and I didn't I didn't care about
Mhm.
it. And I remember that when I had some struggles or emotional things or some problems or family issues, the first thing I, I did was looking to porn.
Mhm.
That was my escape. All right, and well, basically 12 or 11 years of my life, um, I lost those years, and it's hard to accept it, but it's part of our reality, I guess. And when you forgive yourself and you accept what you did, and have the courage to say, okay, um, I already did this, but I can be better. There's always an opportunity. So I remember then when I met my actual girlfriend.
Mhm.
I remember that I really liked that girl. I was really in love and so attracted to her. And we started hanging out. I remember that we had like 3 4 months dating. And as I told before, since I was 15 years old, I started having normal sex. So I could say that I have experience, right?
Yeah.
And I never experienced like performance anxiety or something like that towards having
Mhm.
sex. So I remember that there was a day that we were kissing. I was touching her, and nothing was happening down there.
Mm.
Nothing at all. I didn't felt anything, no drive, no sex drive, no libido, nothing at all.
And that had never happened to you before.
Never happened to me before. So that night I came at home and I was definitely thinking about that. And I said, maybe it was nerves because this is a new girl or something like that. I was trying to find some excuses or reasons, uh, looking a reason why that happened. And as usual, I turned into porn
Mm-hmm.
and magic, you know, I instantly had an erection, and I was like, I'm not broken. Everything's fine. So I kept the course, I kept watching porn, and then I remember that after like 7 days, uh, we I saw the girl again, and we tried to have sex. And I remember that I had an erection like a 50% and lost it, completely lost it. And I didn't knew what happened. I was like so ashamed. And then,
How did you handle
uh,
that? What did you say?
I told her like I was tired and I didn't want it to, and maybe it was because I was so stressed or something like that. But I knew that it wasn't that.
Yeah.
I completely knew it. And she started thinking that I wasn't attracted to her.
Mm-hmm.
And it was completely contrary. I think she's the girl that I've been most attracted to.
Mm.
And well, I started looking for answers at that point
And
because
when was this?
I'm sorry.
When was this?
Um, it was when I think the third time I failed with her and having sex. I had like
Was this a year
20.
ago though, or 2 years ago?
I was 21 years old. I'm now 24.
Okay.
I was 24. I am 24. And um, I remember that I looked into the internet, young guy, erection problems and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And everything showed anxiety related issues or something like that. And then I started looking on YouTube. And I remember, and I think that's our case. I remember that the first video that I saw was Gary Wilson's video, the TED
Mm-hmm.
Talk. Man, that completely changed my life.
Yeah.
And I cried at that moment because I didn't knew that I was doing too much damage to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I started looking for more videos related to um, porn related issues and how it can affect your sexual uh, function and all that stuff. And then I found you. I remember that I wrote you an email. You definitely replied promptly. I think you replied the next day. And I started watching your videos, gave Dean videos. And the thing that I first did was educate myself about this addiction. I think that's really important, and that's one of the first things that you need to do to completely recover. Because you got to have a plan to recover,
Mm-hmm.
an action plan. You got to organize yourself and replace porn with other activity. At first, it was really hard, completely hard. I remember that the first week that I left porn, I felt completely depressed. I had suicidal. I don't know how do you pronounce that. I
Oh,
wanted
suicidal thoughts?
suicidal thoughts. Correct. And I remember that I lost completely my libido, even to look at porn. I didn't want
Mhm.
it to look at porn. I didn't feel that drive, and I didn't knew why that was happening. Um, I remember that I went through a flatline maybe for 2 months. That was completely scary. I was anxious all day long. I'm at work, wasn't able to concentrate. Um, because of the flatline and because I was depressed that I wasn't able to have sex with my girl.
Mhm.
Because I think one of the most ego destroying things for a man is not to properly function in bed. I think that's your masculinity and all that stuff gets completely destroyed at that moment. Well, that's how I felt. And I remember that when I was through the flatline, I didn't know what was that or why I completely lost my morning wood.
So you hadn't learned
And
about the flat line yet.
I hadn't learned about that flatline at that point. And then I started looking about why did I lost my morning wood, and I found definitely good articles on your brain on porn website.
Mhm.
I think that's Gary Wilson's website.
Yeah, that's right.
And I started reading, and then so I said, "Oh, this is normal, like
Mhm.
relatively normal for a porn recovery process. This is something that you gotta get through." And uh, so I accept that, but I remember that I had like 3 month streak without watching porn, and I was successfully. Uh, I had sex with my actual girlfriend at that time.
Okay, it worked.
It worked. 3 months without porn worked. I thought that was over, and it
Mhm.
wasn't that way. I have sometimes that I was able to have sex perfectly, and other times that it didn't work, and
Yeah.
I got frustrated and all that stuff. I didn't know how to handle those moments, and I started getting mad at myself or something like that, and I started thinking that I had some other issues, maybe physical issue or something like that. Um, but I didn't know that I needed more time.
Mhm.
And after like my fourth failure, um, uh, after that 3 or 4 month streak, I remember that I relapsed. Um, I went back to porn, and I remember that when I went back to porn, I had like a binge, like for a month, and try to have sex again, and it didn't work again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's not hard to bring the dysfunction back
yeah,
when you
so
start using porn
PI
again.
yeah PID went back really fast,
Mhm.
and at that point, my girl was trying to look for an answer. She was trying to help me out,
Had you
and
talked to her about PIED yet?
then at that point, um, I listened to your talk in a show. I don't know. It was uh,
Maybe the
I
mystery
don't.
box show?
That's the one. Yeah.
Mhm.
And one of the things you said it was that you open with that girl and explain her about the addiction and what was going on, and that's what I did that night. I
Mhm.
showed her your video, you know, and and she completely understand. Maybe she didn't understood the whole thing because she,
Mhm.
didn't haven't read all the information that I have read, but she was completely comprehensive, and she told me that she will support me and wait for me until I recover. So that was completely um, uh,
That must have been a relief.
a relief for me.
Yeah.
Correct. And then after that, everything became easier because when I tried and it didn't work, she already know that that could happen, and I already know that that could happen as well. And we knew that we were in a process because we took this as a team. She started looking for information. She is a psychologist, so she started educating herself in this thing, and she started helping me with therapies and all that stuff, and that really helped me as well. Um, so uh, since that point, I have now 2 years without porn, and I'm really glad.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. And I know that I can never go back.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I don't want my uh, generation, to repeat the same pattern, because I know that that can definitely destroy their lives um, at some point. So I completely recover after 7, 8 months of completely abstination, hard mode, reboot, and a lot of rewiring with my girl, kissing, touching, and that was really um, uh, satisfying to me because I've never um, experienced to be in love before.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't feel
And
like I could fully feel love while I was using porn either.
and yeah, I can definitely relate because that happened to me, and um, I started, to enjoy all the aspects of a relationship. I met her family. She met my family. We started going to church and a lot of activities that has nothing to do with sex. And then we started to be more intimate. And I remember that I started having normal sex with her, and I still kept my journal,
Mm-hmm.
so I still kept it. I think that that's something that really helped me out. And well, just to let you, it's like some information in this maybe in this last year that I have had sex with her like 280 times successfully with no issues at all. And we're going to get married in 2 week in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
In two
Congratulations,
weeks.
Jafet.
Thank you. And she's pregnant. I'm going to be a dad, and we're so happy for that. I think Gabe's team. He just turned. He's just the dad. I guess.
Yeah, I think his firstborn is due pretty soon as well.
Yeah, and uh, no, you guys have completely been an inspiration to me. I have no issues at all when uh, you talk about sex. It's completely fixed and completely cured, and I'm so happy for that.
Would you say that you're happier now than you ever have been in your adult life?
Totally, totally. I feel free because I was trapped on porn, and um, I regret, of uh, the first time I watched porn in my life. I wish I don't know how do you say that. I wish I've never looked porn.
Yeah. Well, we can't change the
So
past, but it sounds like you've built yourself a pretty amazing present and have a bright future to look forward to.
correct.
And it
Yeah.
took you about 8 months then of completely abstaining from porn and rewiring with your girlfriend to get to that point where you felt fully recovered. Is that right?
It took me 8 months for me to have normal sex. There were some times that I didn't felt like after those 8 months, like I didn't felt completely drive to have sex, and I was completely open to her, and I was like, I don't feel like having sex today. Let's do something else. And
Yeah.
I think that's part of this process, for you to be able to handle and control your sexuality into a more normal way. Like
Hmm.
if you don't feel the drive to do it, so then don't do it. Don't force yourself to do something that you don't want to do it. So I learned to do that. Um, and now when we have sex or when we have intercourse, it's because we both want it and because we enjoy it. And I think that I've never enjoyed sex as I enjoy it now.
Hmm. So even before, when you were 15 and able to have sex with your first girlfriend, it wasn't as good as it is now without porn.
It wasn't that good in terms of intimacy and
Mm.
love,
Yeah.
and it was just sex. I
Hmm.
think there's a difference in between having sex and make love to a person. And
100%.
yeah, so I definitely think that now with my future wife, we definitely make love every time we have intercourse.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And would you say that you feel fully recovered now, or do you still see yourself making progress even after 2 years?
Um, I think that we learn something new every day,
Hmm.
and I think that I still I keep learning every day about the addiction, how to help others. But in terms of sexual function, I feel completely recovered,
Hmm.
and but I think that I don't know how do you call this when you feel the drive to watch porn. How do you call that?
Like having urges?
Having urges. I still have urges,
Hmm.
but I have managed to control them. You know, um, and whenever I have urges, what I do is that I've tried to not to be alone or get out of my room or just escape, um, and not because I'm afraid, but I think that it requires a lot of courage for you to escape from what you know that's not good for you. Even though you
Hmm.
want to do something, but you need to have the courage to say no. So I feel completely recovered from PID, but I know that there's a lot of brain changes and physiological changes in the brain um, that are still happening. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
like in terms of anxiety or being a brain foggy or something like that. I started, having more clearness. I'm able to have more concentration today. Nowadays, I'm at work, so I think that yeah, I'm still seeing benefits
Mhm.
of living porn away. Yeah.
And now that you're fully recovered from the PIED, will you start using porn again once in a while?
No, man, that's not an option. That's
Just
not an
making
option.
sure.
Yeah, I think that I wouldn't change my now life for 5 minutes of pleasure, 10 minutes of pleasure,
Mhm.
because it's not worth it.
Is there anything else that you really want to share with people, or that guys in the situation you were in 2, 3 years ago need to know?
Um, yes, there's a couple of things that I wanted to share. The first thing is that never give up, keep trucking. I think one of the quotes or sayings that gave uses is, if you're going through hell, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely made that one of my sayings as well. So never give up. There's always hope. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. And I um, I encourage uh, those guys out there that are struggling with the same stuff, that be brave, fill the void, because at the end you'll find success. At the end, you will completely recover, and that's for sure. I know that if porn is the issue, we can defeat it. I completely, I'm sure about that.
Yeah, I know a
100%.
lot of people might get to 3 months or 5 months and not see the progress that they're hoping for and start to give up. But you can attest that it can take longer than that, but that it's very much worth the journey. It's not that long, even if it's a year or a year and a half in comparison with the rest of your life.
That's correct. I think that if if you want to recover, you will do whatever is on your hands to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever it takes. So that was my mentality. I didn't care how many times I failed. I didn't care how many times I would repeat the process, but I knew that I was going to recover, because I was going to do whatever it takes, because I didn't want it um, to live a life trapped in porn. And something that really helped me out was the journal. And other thing that really helped me out was uh, setting myself goals. Like in 3 months, I will, try for sex. If it doesn't work, I will try for sex again in a month. And then I was, setting myself goals, and not just living out porn, but changing your life completely. I started practicing sports again, and doing activities that will definitely motivate you, and just start living the life that you wanted to, even though you don't feel the drive to, you know?
Mm-hmm. Some guys might think, yeah, I could do it if I was in a relationship like Jafet. But do you think if that relationship that you're in now hadn't made it through your struggles, do you think that you would have been able to do this and recover while single?
Um, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, well, as I told before, my future wife really helped me out. I think
Mm-hmm.
she was a key, and uh, definitely something that helped me out in this process. But if that relationship wasn't, if the relationship didn't uh, happen or something like that, I think that I was, yeah, I would be able to recover, but not that faster,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that rewiring is really important.
Yeah.
It's part of the process. Um, but I have read a lot of stories of guys that they're not in a relationship, and they see all these benefits. They started seeing their morning wood to come back, and that's a really good sign. That means that your sexual function is fine. That if you have morning wood, that means that your penis is fine. Okay, and that's one of the things that I learned. And I think one of the important things is don't to get desperate, and don't to expect uh, immediate results. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this requires some time, and it's different for everybody. is different for everybody. Some guys can recover in 2 months, and some others can take longer, maybe a year, 2 years.
Mhm.
You don't know, but even though you don't see those benefits, um, I give my word that living out porn will change your life completely.
Well, thank you, Jafet, for coming back and sharing this story. And a lot of guys, they might reach that point that you're at now and be very grateful for everything they've experienced that brought them there. But for whatever reason, might not have the opportunity or the inclination to share what they've been through because they might not want to be associated with pornography use. But I admire your humility and courage in stepping forward and being willing to share your story, because every story like yours, you never know whose life that's going to save or
Yeah,
what, spot of light in the darkness that will be for somebody.
yeah.
So thank you. And congratulations on the life and the family that you're building.
Thank you, man. I want to thank you as well, because I wouldn't be able to do it without you as well, with all of your videos. And as you said, there's not too many people that are willing to help others and to expose themselves and don't be related with porn. But it's something that I need to applaud to you, and just keep doing what you're doing, because you're changing a lot of lives, man. You just changed mine.